When you discovered the law of attraction, you started to believe anything was possible. Life got better, much better. Now you want more, but it's not working. That's where the Manifest It Now show comes in. If you've been waiting for someone who can teach you the practical application to manifest quicker and easier while having more, turn the volume up, because the dynamic duo, Cassie Parks and Ginny Gain, are ready to teach you how to live the law of attraction like they do. It's time to laugh and learn.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of Manifest It Now. I'm here with Cassie Parks.
And I'm here with Ginny Gain.
We have a topic for you all today. We're going to talk about this idea of if you're pulled, like if the universe is pulling you towards something. We had a couple good things come up with clients last week, and it's going to be a good one.
Yeah, I'm excited. I like this topic. I always like talking about things that I feel like a lot of that sort of get thrown around in the world. Mm-hmm. Like if you've been studying or learning from a lot of different people, I think it's so important. So often, this is a little bit off topic, but on topic. What I find is that people take these statements and then they don't really think them through. Like you hear something that a teacher says or a guru says or a book says. And by the way, you should also do this with Jenny and I's work too. But something that we say, but you just sort of keep it surface level. You don't really integrate it and think about like, what does that actually mean? Mm-hmm. Or why is that? Like, how does that fit into the grand picture of things? Mm-hmm. And so I really love to talk about these things because I know one of the most important things that I've done for my own journey of growth and attracting what I want is get really clear about if I'm going to take on a belief or a thought, like sort of from an outside, or why do I believe that? Or why do I not? Even from my own self, like, why do I say things the way that I say? Or why is that? Where's the backup internally and also science and stuff.
And then there's the other factor of like, there's a million interpretations of one statement. And so really understanding it makes me think of like the Bible and different verses and things that are said are interpreted so many different ways. And I remember when I was first learning about different things, not that I learned a lot, but it was very traditional and I felt zero resonance with it. And then I'm hearing new interpretations of that. And now from where I stand now and the experience and knowledge I have, I'm like, oh yeah, that makes total sense. I just think of it this way. But it's the same words, it's the same concepts, but I'm looking at it in just a different way. And in a way that resonates with me. And we have the power to do that with everything and anything.
Yeah. And I think it's so important. Like, I'm glad that you brought up the word interpretation, because that's what happens, right? We hear or we read something and we do something, and then we have this interpretation of what does that mean? And it's important to really get clear on that. And because clarity helps us attract, and it's so important.
Absolutely. So do you want to just dive in, Cass? I feel like Okay. So let's talk about, since we're going to talk about defining what this means, this concept of like that gets thrown around that the universe is calling you. Mm-hmm. Go.
Okay. There was another term we used at the beginning, calling or pulling.
Got
right?
it. Pulling. Okay. Yeah.
So when I hear that, the thing that for me is I go, the universe is us, like based on like, and this is from some scientific perspectives and also I think it's taught in other ways too, but like the universe is a reflection of us. It's a thing that we're just putting this data into, and it's like a mirror and it's reflecting its back. So it doesn't always come back, like if we put in, I'm worthy, like we can get money back. Right? Like we'll see money as the reflection, a lot of other things too, right? We'll see it in our relationship. So it's not necessarily this thing where I say, I'm worthy and you're worthy. You get the experience back.
A big sign that says, Cassie, you are worthy.
Yeah. Which I love. Like, this like amazing mirror picture. Anyway. And so you get the information back. And what happens when you grow you get things reflected to you. And when you can't make a decision, or when you're faced with a decision, it's neutral. Like, it's not that the universe is giving us this data, or like this thing to do, or calling us. We're most often calling ourselves, and we have to just find out what we're calling ourselves to do, right?
Yes.
It's
okay,
how
pause.
we
Pause.
Okay.
The universe is not separate from you. This is the biggest concept, I think, underlying this idea. It's a reflection. It's not separate. It's not different. It doesn't have this thing out there doesn't have any ideas or plans for your life that aren't already within or a part of you. So just like Cass finished saying, you are calling you. If there's any way to say this, it's you're calling yourself.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so if you feel called, if you're like, your internal system is saying, I think this is like what I'm being called, like, that's trust that. That's who you're being called to, right? Or it's being called to leave a relationship, or investigate a new job. It's the same. It's really, I mean, it's a lot inspired action. It just looks different sometimes when we put it in terms of when there's something that we feel like we have to make a choice about. It seems easier sometimes, I think. I mean, I think a couple things is why this comes up is, number one, it seems easier. Like, we don't have to necessarily make the choice if the universe is asking us to do it, right?
Yes.
It's like figuring out like, oh, what choices the universe want me to make, right? And it's sort of this leftover resonance that often sometimes the way that our brain has integrated this information is that the universe sort of substitutes for God. A lot of times when people are maybe bridging what they believe, or they're exploring different beliefs, and very much in a God sense, in traditional Christian, or anyway, what I know, I don't think it's always every term God means this, but, God is sort of like pulls the strings, puts these things in front of you to get through, and to do this and to do that. And so it's really, as you're going through this work, you want to say, like, and I think you can still believe in both. Like, I think if you believe in sort of that traditional Christian belief that God puts things in front, like, you can still believe that, and you can believe that the universe is a reflection of you.
Yeah.
But you don't combine the two.
What do you mean don't combine? That's like, I was actually going to say it's a mixture of the two.
Right. Well, that's what I mean. Like, it's a mixture, but it's not like they're not the same. It's not that God becomes the universe and the universe then takes over that role of, I'm putting this in your path, so to speak.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's very much like you believe that if certain things are put in your path by God, they're put in your path by God. And the universe is reflecting you and who you're being and what you're being, what you're calling yourself to do.
Yeah. I love this conversation so much because it's kind of brings up like this idea that there's no drama or emotion to any of this. There's no like, this person is meant for this specific path and they're getting these signs, that kind of thing. And the opposite of like, it's just a reflection. It's just science, like energy matching up, lining up. And if you're activating this, you're activating this. And so talking about this, like being called to something, how I would describe that is like same as we've been talking about, 100% it comes from you. And I have a belief that we, on some level, before we come into this world, are deliberately choose to come in and know the essence of the path we want, not the specifics. I'm not saying there's this destiny. Cass and I have talked about this before, but know the essence of what kind of experience we want to have in order to grow and expand, and for ourselves and for the world and the universe. And so that calling, I think another thing that's coming in now is because our natural state is love and abundance and joy, that's what's always calling us. And so making it practical to Cass's work, like your future self is love and abundance and joy. So that's the call. It's coming from that place, which is still inside you. And that never goes anywhere. And it's amazing to have that call and to feel that and to honor that. And that's how we know, not that we're on the right path, but I don't know, the words aren't coming. But to go along that path, that's what we want to listen for.
Mm-hmm.
I know I kind of went all over the place.
That's okay. I know. There was so much good stuff. And I want to do makes me want to do a whole episode sort of on, and we've talked about this before, and we use the same words. Like, you have to decide what you believe, right? So for you believe that, we come in with some essence, like we choose that beforehand, some essence of the path, right? I said that right. And I believe that, that's true to a degree, but I believe we all actually choose it different. I think some souls are like, I'm just going to dive in, like, give me what you got, right? Or like, not give me what you got, but I'm just going to choose right now. And I'm not necessarily going to choose the things that are going to come up. I just want to go like live and move for it. I think some souls come down, we choose that, okay, I want to have this lesson this time, or I want to do this, or I want to do it with these people or this person, right? I think there's levels that we choose, which I think would be a whole fun episode. But the cool thing about that is when we see the universe as us, like a reflection of us, and it's not someone else dictating or like putting this thing for us, there's no right answer. Like when you choose, going back to our past episode, when you choose in that present moment what feels best, or choose what you want to focus, right? Do you want what feels best? Do you want what makes you feel most loving, which might be the same thing? Do you want what feels like most like your future self? Do you want what feels easiest? No matter like the choice that you make, if you make it based on what you want instead of moving away from what you don't want, it's going to be awesome. It's going to create, it doesn't like, because the choice doesn't matter. It's how you make it. It's going to create more of what you want.
So good. I can just imagine people's first response to like, it doesn't matter what choice you make. And they're like, yeah, pretty sure it does, Cassie. But I'm along, like, I also believe the same, like that you actually can't get it wrong. That every choice you make is always just you make it in that moment, and then you get more information, and then you make a new choice, and then you get more information, and then you make a new choice. And this is your path unfolding. And the more, there's two things. The more awareness you have of those choices you're making, that you're actually making a choice and not responding, just reacting to life. And combined with knowing where you want to go in terms of like who you want to be in the future, the power of those two, that process of like information choice, it's just natural. It gets more in alignment with who you are. It's moving you. You can feel the progression towards the life and the person that you want to be. And it's not scary. The process isn't scary. You feel in control or empowered because you're aware of what's happening along the way.
Yeah. And you feel, I think, more empowered when you're not trying to figure out, what does the universe want me to do? When you really own, this is me. I'm a deliberate creator, and I want more of X, or I want to move towards this in my life. So I'm going to make this choice. It's so much more empowering. Like, and naturally, like we're saying that, the choice doesn't matter, and it doesn't, but it's almost like that's what comes up next in your head, whether that's conscious or unconscious at this point. But like, those are the natural words. Oh, so it doesn't matter. Like if I choose based on what I want more of, or who I want to be, or what I want to attract, like just what I want more of, like it's always going to be the right decision. Always.
It so is. It's really hard to explain it until you have those experiences of that and around it. So the other kind of part of this that we talked about, it kind of came up with a client last week, is the same kind of going along the same concept of like the universe. What's the universe trying to tell me? Like this idea of signs. And, well, what does the universe want from me? You know, I feel frustration in this area of my life, and I feel frustration, you know, with my partner and then with my coworker. Like, what's the deal? What's the universe trying to tell me? And the universe is not trying to tell you anything. It's just, like Cass said, a reflection. It's giving you information of what's going on inside you. And then you in your consciousness. So that's amazing in itself. Like having that information, having an awareness that like, oh my gosh, I noticed the same feeling here and over here. That's like great information. Okay, so now I have a new level of awareness of like what's going on in me so that I can be more deliberate in these areas. And so I forget what I was going to say. Oh yeah, you decide. So in that moment, you use your conscious mind and decide what you're going to make that mean, not what the universe says or you think the universe is telling you, but what you want it to mean. What you like, you make a choice. It's not just willy-nilly. You get to choose. This is what being deliberate is all about, is taking the information that's being reflected to you and deciding what it means in order to help you create more of what you want.
Yes.
Yeah.
And knowing if you decide and you choose, it's always taking you closer to what you want.
What do you think of, so in terms of the universe like delivering you signs or things like that, how would you talk about that?
I think it's a reflection of what we're looking for, right? Like if
totally agree.
If we want a sign, that like, because everything is a reflection of our energy, right? So let's say that you know, somebody wants to get back with somebody, like an ex, and they like that's what they want inside. Maybe they haven't like totally admitted that, but that's the energy inside. That's the vibration. That's everything that's there. Everything that they see. I mean, and this is part of the way our brain works too. Like we want that. So our brain is going to filter all the signs that you should get back with that person.
Yes.
Like your iPod is naturally going to pick all the songs that remind, because that's your energy, right? That's what you're attracting. It's what you want. And it's also what you're paying attention to. So you're going to notice when it comes up on your iPod, whereas you're not going to notice the other 15 songs in between or 5 songs. Because your brain is helping you by pulling that information and pulling all the signs.
Based on your desire.
Yeah. Yeah. It's all because it's all a reflection of you, which is why it's so important to choose and be aware, like, you know, what do I want? And okay. And look for like the evidence of what you want, because you're training your brain for what you want, to be consciously choosing what you want. Right. Versus just, I want to get back with this, like being really conscious. Like, what do I actually want? Do I want love, and defining it very clearly, and so that you're attracting that, not necessarily the person.
Absolutely. I remember, I mean, I 100% agree. I remember I had one client who was deciding if we were going to work together or not, if it was going to be something she wanted. And so she asked the universe for a sign. And she drove around the corner and there was fireworks going off. She's like, I knew it. That was a sign. And I'm like, that's amazing. But if there wasn't the bigger part of her that wanted it, she wouldn't have lined up with the sign. So sometimes we think, like, we will say, well, if I see this, then it means, yes, I will go there or make this choice or whatever. And if I don't, then it means I won't. And we're kind of like putting it out there to some bigger power, but still it's going to be, if there's an active enough vibration within you and you're on the frequency of the yesness, then you will see it. And if you're not in vibration with the yesness, then you won't. It's not that there was some predetermined decision that had already been made and that the sign was your guidance. The sign is the guidance of your alignment with the thing. Whether
Yes.
and tell me how you feel about this, Cass, whether it's quote unquote right or wrong. Quote unquote wrong, nothing can be wrong, but
nothing. Yeah. Oh, absolutely. It's a reflection of what you want it to be because it's what you're going to see, right?
Exactly. It's a reflection of what you want it to be.
Yeah. And what's coming to mind if someone wants, like, I like to apply things to movies, but I went to Serendipity when I was in New York and watched the movie again recently. And it's all about that, right? He's always following the signs and like she's following the signs. And there's some moment at the end where his best friend, have you seen Serendipity?
About a long time ago.
Yeah. So where he's like, following all these signs and it's like, I'm wrong. And his friend is like, the signs aren't wrong, but like you're following them because you don't want to be somewhere else. Like, you're looking for all of these signs because really he didn't want to get married to that person. Like he was in love with this other woman, but the thing was like he didn't want to marry the other one. And so he's looking for all these signs that he should keep chasing this other girl.
So good.
Yeah.
Like this is so empowering. I feel like there might be multiple reactions to this. Like, oh, like I thought it was kind of fun and I could ask the universe for signs and stuff. And then another oppositely, it's like, oh my gosh, I really can create anything I want. If I want a sign, I can create it and line up with it. Like the empowering feeling of like literally anything is possible. I just have to be a vibrational match to it. Like that is the power you guys have. It's nothing's off limits.
Nothing.
Yeah.
I love it. That feels like anything else we start talking about, we'll just be opening new things. So
is there anything you want to wrap up with?
Well, I want to wrap up with what are you excited about? Because we're so excited that we jumped into this. So I think we should just take a second and do that.
I feel really excited to be settling into a little bit more of a routine at our new house. And one of the greatest things about it is the location. So it's a big difference in feel from where we were living. And oh my gosh, I have an amazing story I forgot to tell you guys. So one of the where we are now, it's like a community. It's like so much more homey and feeling. We have neighbors and we have friends. And the other thing I love about it is how close to the water we are. Like I just popped over to the beach this morning and I was like, oh yeah, this is my life. And it keeps having to be like a pinch me kind of thing, which is amazing. But you guys are never going to guess. So I haven't even told Cass this. What do you guess the name of our neighbor across the street? Guess what her name is.
Guess the name. I don't know.
It's
Lisa?
Ginny. It's Ginny.
Oh!
Our next door neighbor's name is Virginia, Ginny for short, which is exactly the same as me. And I'm like, what are
awesome.
The freaking chances? Right?
Right? Yes.
Oh, man.
Oh, that's awesome.
So that's what I feel excited about.
Yes.
What are you excited about, Cass?
I'm excited about your new house. I'm excited about hearing I can just pop over to the beach. In fact, the other day we were driving when I got the picture of the that you guys took, with the sign out front. So I showed it. We were talking about it and then I showed it to Xavier and he's like, it looks like it's at the beach. Yeah, I said, I know, doesn't it? That's awesome. And so that was really fun and super cool that he said that my little guy said that. And just so fun. So I'm excited about that. I'm just excited for all the cool stuff that's going on. And my new book. I'm excited about that too.
Awesome.
Yeah. Awesome.
All right. Well, have an amazing week, everyone, and we will see you next time.
Bye.
Go be awesome.
Thank you for joining us on the Manifest It Now show, where you learn how to leverage the law of attraction to manifest your dreams. Now that you're inspired, share the love and review us on iTunes. While you're there, remember to subscribe.